You must get a kick. Well, those YouTube videos are amazing of you trying to motivate the troops. When you watch them back, do they play out as you remember doing them?
No, not at all. I guess I was having fun, but you know how you get yourself worked up in one of those super hyper states and you just got the adrenaline flowing? I'm good at that.
Well, were you naturally that kind of guy? Were you naturally, this dynamic, a personality, but also leader of a company? Because a lot of guys kind of grow into their own comfort level. Were you always this way?
No, very shy as a kid.
Yeah.
Super shy as a kid, in fact. My parents used to have to leave me in the car when we go to other people's houses because I was too nervous to go meet the other daddies.
Well, do you remember when this happened, the change?
Yeah, it really started happening in college. I was the manager, not a player, but the manager of the football team, and I used to have to get up in front of 100 guys who were all...
Harvard team, right?
Harvard team, and these guys were all, sit down, manager, man, listen up, and you're like, girding yourself to do the right thing.
What was your record when you were the manager of that team?
Well, we won 2 Ivy League championships.
That's
Thank you for asking.
I think
I was a manager, though I didn't play it.
I think I may have lost money betting on that particular team. Now you have a new operating system coming up for Microsoft, but the question that I would have is, from the beginning when Windows was what it was to now, what are the challenges of putting out an operating system in this climate?
Yeah. The real thing is the innovation. Economy's tough on everybody. There's no question about that.
Does that affect your business in that respect?
Sure. People buy less PCs. Businesses buy less computing. Sure, it affects the business. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we keep Windows and we keep the PC moving. Because there's always something new. That's been the amazing thing about the PC. When I started Microsoft, there was no PC. Then it was a machine for programmers, for word processing, for finance, and now just think it's for music, it's for communication, it's for video, it's for this, it's for that, it's for everything. Right. It's really amazing.
Well, 1980, was it 1980, early 80s when you joined Microsoft?
Exactly, yeah.
So 1980 you joined Microsoft. I'm sure you, Bill, and a bunch of the other people, Bill Gates, had an idea of where the company could go. But with speeds and technology, did you think you'd be here in 2009 and this is what we would be talking about and this is where it had gone?
The technology, yes. The real impact that it's had on society, if anything, we probably underestimated. I remember there was a day in the 80s sometime, Andy Grove, who was running Intel, said, some year there'll be 100 million computers sold. Bill and I thought, wow, what a big number. Yeah. And this year there's going to be 300 million Windows computers sold.
And that's just the Windows computers?
That's just the Windows. And there'll be another, maybe 10 or 12 million Macs on top of that. Oh. You told me we're allowed to have a little fun, George.
You can do whatever you want. Steve, I'm glad you brought that up. What do you do, the Mac, is Mac a competitor? Is Apple a real competitor to you guys?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure, of course.
I was wondering if you guys looked at Google as a bigger competitor than a company like Apple.
We got a lot of competitors. Really, we have a lot of good competitors because we do a lot of different things. When it's video game time, we're really looking at Sony and Nintendo with our Xbox. When it's search time, we're looking one direction. Business computing, we look another. It's just that we've got the broadest footprint of anybody in our business.
Well, you're a competitive guy, right? And you like your company to win.
I do.
What was your first reaction when you saw those Mac PC ads? Because there are campaigns that are successful, and then there are campaigns that become cultural. And it doesn't matter if people are buying Macs or PCs or not, but those commercials resonate. When you first saw them, what went through your mind?
I can't say, wow, this is a happy day. What I can say is I'm glad they've been more cultural than commercial.
Yeah, okay. But Apple actually had a success with the iPod, and I think that in the way that they went away from what people thought was their core business. I think Xbox is an example where things changed for Microsoft. Hardware versus software. When you took over the company, did you have a different point of view as to how the company should run from Bill?
No, look, Bill and I worked together every day for 28 years. Yeah. Okay, now Bill's part-time at Microsoft, but 28 years. You can't say, oh, we all have different ideas. Now Bill's not here, Steve's not. No, I mean, we've been partners. He was senior partner, I was junior partner. He asked me to flip it around 10 years ago. I became the senior partner. He wants to be part-time. But we share a common view of what to go do with the company. Doesn't mean we don't argue. We're kind of like brothers. We always work it through, but there's plenty of arguments along the way.
On the surface, it seems like there are different personalities, but behind the scenes, are you guys more similar than people think?
No, we have different personalities. And actually, I think that's part of why things work. You want to bring together people who really are a little bit different, but if they share common respect and kind of affection, you can get this stuff to really hum.
but your tones are different, so your management tones are different. When you become the guy, and especially, you start 10 years ago when things start to really change for you at the company, do you implement things differently? And I know that I ask because a lot of people work for CEOs or our CEOs watch who wonder about managerial styles and how they evolve.
Yeah, look, the way I contribute and work has got to be different. My personality's different, my skills are different. And so the real question is, how do you, in any company, how do you get a complements of skills at the top? I'm kind of a little more outgoing, rah-rah. You need people who are also sort of more obviously quiet, contemplative, in order to build the right kind of environment. The thing that certainly bonded Bill and I was we're both, kind of really intense and care a lot and real passionate about stuff, but very different in other ways.
Have priorities changed in the business in that, for a long time it was military governmental, then it became, you talk about corporate, then the personal computer, and everybody went to people at home, and then back to business. Networking became an issue. Where is the priority now? Where do you think the business is going?
It's funny, I just had a group of our Canadian employees together. We had about 500 people together here in Toronto. And I asked them, how many of you think we're too enterprise focused? How many think we're too focused on the consumer? And basically the consensus is we got to keep balancing, because there's just so much of an opportunity to make a difference in individual people's lives and in the way businesses work. I mean, I expect the way people watch this TV show is going to continue to change.
Oh, yeah. It hasn't in the 5-6 years we've been on the air.
Absolutely. By the time we get a little bit of intelligence, a little bit of software in that TV set, people are going to be shouting their questions at you from every screen in Canada.
Oh, yeah, because that's going to make it better, Steve. Because that's what we're going for.
I promised more interactive.
Is that where we're going?
That's Web 3.0, George.
Is that where we're going now? Is that what's going to happen?
Sure. Eventually you'll be watching a hockey game, and you'll just say, hey, Charlie, did you see that shot? And Charlie's not in the room, but your computer wakes up. Where's Charlie? Yeah. Is Charlie willing to be interrupted by George? It finds Charlie, picture in picture, it takes him immediately to that shot. He hears your voiceover. Hey, Charlie, did you see that shot? He could say, I'm tuning George out for that. Yeah. He could have tuned you out beforehand.
Possible.
That sounds good. Look, even today, kids are playing Xbox. They're talking to one another. Sure. That's not so far-fetched.
Well, it's not pie in the sky at all, but is it the kind of thing that people are working towards? I mean,
Absolutely.
Inside your companies, are you looking at that?
No, absolutely. Bringing intelligence, just like it's coming to the phone and it's been in the PC, bringing some intelligence, some voice recognition, that kind of thing to the TV, it's front and center.
When you watch movies like AI and robots rise up to kill us, do you feel partly responsible?
I actually probably feel partly reactionary. I remember when the TV show 24 first came out, whatever it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and my wife said, wow, that stuff will never happen. And she looked at me after our company meeting where we did some demos, and she said, we're all going to be Jack Bauer, aren't we?
Exactly. But I wonder that because, there's a documentary about Star Trek and how a lot of people watch Star Trek and they went on to become great inventors and scientists and just, electricians and engineers that have come up with amazing technology. Do you look at things from the fictional world and think, maybe we can do this stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in a sense, it's all... In the right time frame, all of the things that people have imagined, we ought to be asking ourselves, how do we really invent and make them affordable and practical? And there's no piece of imagination that should be discarded.
Are you the kind, like some record company presidents like to have the people under them tell them about new bands that don't belong to them? Like they're not developing bands, they find new bands. Are you out there scouring for new technology? Are you looking for new companies that you guys can buy up and take like that?
Every year we'll buy someplace between 10 and 20 companies. Most of them you probably have never heard of. They're small, they're startup, they got a great idea. We go do a lot of our own R&D, we do a lot of our own research, but we like to find the new bands too.
I imagine that'd be kind of a crazy backstory that people would never see, those guys who start companies up with one little piece of technology in the hopes of being bought. And are they always pitching you, coming to you in the street saying, Steve, you got to buy this company?
Not only on the streets, they don't need to come to me on the streets, they come to me on email. I probably get 5 proposals a day over email from folks who have either ideas or companies they want to sell us.
And do you take them seriously?
I do, every one of them. I get somebody to go take a look at and tell me whether they think there's a there there.
But only 5. Is that because no one has your email address?
I won't give it on Canadian television. But if you do a search on Bing.com, our new search engine, I'll bet you'll find my email
Bing,
address.
by the way, is their version of Google, in case you're wondering. That's what they're talking about.
Hurt me, George.
I'm just trying. Have you altered your leadership styles at all?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And I think I started Microsoft, there were 24 of us. Mm-hmm. There's 95,000 people in Microsoft today. And you go from running like a small little team, and that takes one kind of style. Then you run a team that's got other managers. Mm-hmm. That takes another style. You can talk to everybody. Today I can't talk directly, really, where they give me feedback. That takes another style. You're leading leaders. So yeah, you got to keep evolving and changing kind of with the situation.
Maybe one day your monitor in your office can have a place where the employees can just pop up on your screen and say, hey, Steve, do you want my notes?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I still probably can't do that 95,000 times a day.